Hey planner friends, welcome back to the Plannerhood. It is finally March and we are moving into all of my four planners again for a brand new month. So this will be all about my monthly overview and organizing all of my projects in my large rose planner. So let's get right into it. So if you've been here before, you know that this is my large rose planner and this is my monthly overview and dashboard that helps me stay organized for the entire month. And so this is the February layout that we just completed out. And so a very simple walkthrough of this planner is I have all of the life buckets that I focus on throughout the month and all year long. And then I create some projects or different goals that I have under each one of those life buckets and different tasks, which eventually get scheduled into my actual calendar. And this is the driving calendar that feeds off to all of my other planners, especially when I have specific deadlines or anything that's already scheduled in. And so it's a very simple layout. It continues to work for me. And so I'm still using this planner for 2026. And now we're going into the third month. So when I flip over, you see that March is going to be brand new, fresh start. So the first thing that I usually do is I will go through my projects or goals or whatever it is I have listed here that I said I was going to try to achieve this month. And I will just reference it and see if anything is still missing. And if it is, that would be the first thing that moves into my sticky note because I'll just make a note of what is actually going to go in. So ahead of time, I'm just kind of planning out things that need to move in from the previous month. So everything in February did get completed. It took me a minute. The last couple weeks were a little bit crazy, but fortunately, the last week of February, I was able to kind of catch up on things that were missing and what I didn't complete. And so I ultimately got everything out of February out of the way. So that's very exciting. And so once I do that, after I get whatever is pending and I move it over to my post-it, what I'll do is I'll go through my brain dump and make sure that whatever it is I brain dumped and planned for is going to be moving into my March planner. So I did film my brain dumping process for you guys, which will be edited soon. I don't know if this one is going to be posted first or this one, but it's coming if it isn't already there. And so basically what I do is whatever life buckets are in my mind, it's what I'm kind of brain dumping about. So what projects I want to work on, what tasks I've been either pushing off or other things that I'm going to be adding in, and ultimately look at what is the most important thing that's going to be my focus for this current month. And so most of my brain dump, I do reflect on my actual 2026 goals that essentially were the very first thing that I brain dumped this year, and I'll be referencing them back and forth. So it really just depends. But right now, especially in this busy season of my life, the spring season is usually more busy for me. And so I'm adding on additional clients and different projects. So a lot of this brain dump are for specific project things I want to do, but also not forgetting the main goals that I had kind of planned around for this year. But again, being able to do this really helps me go back and see what is it that I really do want to focus on this month, because some things are going to be a bigger priority than others. So once I have those out, this is exactly what moves into my new month planner, and I will start working in what my schedule is going to look like, along with what projects or goals I have for the month to complete. So that is really the very simple way of how I move into this specific planner. So I'm going to go ahead and start that now, and then I'll go back in and just do one more recap of it. Actually, I almost forgot. So, like I mentioned, I have a busy season this month. And so I did branch out two big projects I have for the month of March into my undated planner. And so um, this is my large rose and this is the small rose, but this one is undated. And so I use this one and I have this one in my collection for these types of purposes only. So I I that video is already uploaded and I show you exactly how I brain dump and organize a whole project and then use this to break down all of the deliverables and tasks for projects specifically. And so the only difference this month is going to be that I'm going to be moving in all of my project notes into my big planner. Now, if you look at my projects, you're kind of like, how are you going to fit all of this into your planner? And the real answer is I'm not. The only thing that will move into my rose planner are going to be the main deadlines and the big deliverables that are milestones within this project, because ultimately all of these individual tasks of this project are going to go into the planner that this project is actually going to be broken down in. So one of my planners is for my marketing clients, so that's going to go in my Nancy planner, and then another project is for my family business, and so that one is going to go into my Christy planner because that project is specific to Christy planner. So that's just how I'm connecting now this added planner for this current month, and so that is what is going to go on here. And so I just wanted to share that because that's going to be the only difference when you see me moving in, of why I'm bringing in a smaller little baby rose here. But that's what I use that for. So that video will be linked in the description as well if you want to see how I break down big projects and then create that 30-day time frame. So now I'm going to move into my month of All right, friends. So this is my March spread for 2026. As you can see, it's a very clean layout and it's the same thing that I've been doing for my previous months. And so it's a very great, just clean layout to really show me the big picture of what my month is going to look like. And that is with everything projects and scheduled at the same time. And it just gives me an idea of where I'm going to be prioritizing my time and making those arrangements. So if you've seen my previous videos, there are a little few things that are different. So usually, first and foremost, what I like to move in with is going to be my set schedule. And that usually will look different, like right now. So currently, my client calls have not been scheduled since I'm still doing my onboarding. So once they reach out and are ready to finish off the next phase, then I'll go in and start scheduling the calls for the rest of the month per client. So that's when I'll start making those arrangements in here. I do it in my digital, but I'll refer to my digital calendar just to see if there's already anything set in stone. And then, of course, anything else with like family appointments, doctor's appointments, or any other things that are like set in my schedule, I will go ahead and put in here. And then I do highlight that in the main color so that I know that that's going to be a priority of the day. And everything else will revolve around that set schedule, right? So that is going to be the first thing that I do. I usually also, if you've seen before, I will notate what days my husband is working and what days he is off. This month, I did not do that because his schedule has been changing and I have been a little annoyed that I have to go back in and try to like do a color on top of a color because my highlighters do not erase. And so I just don't want to make that annotation yet until I know for sure. So that is probably for this month at least going to be as it comes, so that once they readjust to their set schedule, then moving forward, I can probably be able to go back and do that. But for right now, I'm just not going to make a plan of that with my highlighters because then I'm not going to be able to delete them or erase them, not delete them. So most of these weekend things right now are going to probably be tentative until I know exactly what his work schedule is. And maybe even if he is going to be off, it might not interrupt with what I have to do. So they're going to stay there for now. But even at that, I love moving in all of my tasks, as I've shared before, with all of these stickies because, things change. I definitely saw that in the last couple of weeks of February. And so, I have that flexibility, but essentially, all of my brain dump comes into my columns over here. So all of the life buckets that I have planned, all of the big projects I have planned, and anything I need to do so that those projects or goals get completed is what this is. So this is just listed on there of what I need to do this month to make sure that all of those bigger umbrella projects are getting done. And then all of these post-its are all those tasks that coordinate with that, just so that I know that I am already scheduling this into my planner so that there's no excuse for me not to get all of this done. And so it works really well. This is how I was able to get February completed. So I was able to go in and schedule out all of these individual tasks that have to do with those big projects or goals, and I put them into my calendar. That way there was no excuse whatsoever to get everything done, and so everything was able to get scratched off my list for the month of February. So it's also really fun to be able to go back and look and just see how productive you've been for the month. I don't remember if I moved any of these things in, but either which way, if now I know by looking back, is if I did move things in from January that didn't get done and they were moved into February, now they're done. And so that just gives me that satisfaction. So here is March, and these are all the things that I will be working on. What I also like to do, and the reason I like to do this too, is I'll kind of think about, okay, this specific task, how long is it going to take me? And that will kind of help me place things around. And so after I do that, now I have a really good visual of where I have time pockets that are going to be for additional things or other things that I had been maybe thinking about. And then I can go back and look at my brain dump and look at what didn't get moved in and where I can maybe start placing those in now, because I will focus on what's my main priority from my brain dumps, and that's what gets moved into these columns. And so if I have those time pockets like this calendar is showing on this side now, then I can really kind of see, well, if I haven't shuffled things around too much and it's staying this way, then I have the flexibility to go in and find those things that I can now make time for, or I can look at my main 2026 goals and see what is something that I can probably knock out in a day or two, and then add that now to my calendar and my goals for the month. So that's just another way to be able to get that view for yourself and find those time pockets. And maybe it's just like, hey, I have nothing to do, I'm going to go to the spa, or hey, I have nothing to do, I'm just going to, catch up on my TV, whatever that may be. But I feel like this has really helped me identify those time pockets for myself, because I'm being realistic when I'm scheduling my days and the tasks around my days. I'm very realistic about what those tasks are actually going to take up for that given moment. And so it helps me kind of see that ahead of time. So that is my large rose, my dashboard. This is the first planner that I move into every single month. Um, Oh, I didn't mention. So this is going to be a new thing I'm going to try for March. Usually I do not use my habit trackers, but because I did add a couple of things to my March load as far as like personal goals for my reading and faith plans, I wanted somewhere to be able to see them in my overview as well. I shared a video previously how I'm using my undated planners to also help me plan out those added reading studies that I've added to myself, and that's really just on a personal level of my personal goals. I also have shared two additional videos this week, and that is going to be to hold myself accountable for what those personal reading goals and journal goals are going to be. And so this is just going to help me reflect on those things and make sure that I'm staying on track with those goals. Whether it's something I'm going to continue long term or not, I don't know, but I'm not going to know until I really dedicate myself to it to see if it's something I really like or not. So that is where I am going to be tracking this so that I can give myself that feedback and also hold myself accountable for the goals of the month that I said I was going to do, which I also wrote them here. And so I'm going to have that area to be able to look at it. So the only thing I didn't do is go in and add my borders. So you saw that in the fun in the month of February and January, I was trying to add in the colors. Um, I guess I could do that. Um, yeah, let me see if I find a banner that I like, and then I'll kind of think about it. I did bring them out just in case, but let me see which one I'll add in. I was hesitant because um, I'm just they look pretty, but it's just not like a priority to me. So now that I have it set in stone, maybe I can kind of consider it. But I will not do it for my other planners. I will tell you that because I'm just all about being functional, and these are so pretty, but again, it's just not something that I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So I'm gonna add all of these stickers because I did get all of these in all the sizes to see what would work with which one, because I was adamant about wanting to add them. So I shouldn't say that I'm not. Maybe one month I will, maybe who knows, but I'm just not going to promise that it's going to be a consistent thing. But like, I think this is Marchy. But what I did with the other ones that I had gotten in the other sizes, I ended up using them in my journals, and I actually loved that. And so even though I don't think I'm going to be using these every single month in every single planner, they might be just better for my journaling because they're just like, these serve as like little borders and things that I've been using it for. So anyway, that's just one thing I wanted to put on there. So I am going to put my March banner then on this one. And which one is the one? I always forget. So yeah, so since I'm using my habit tracker this month, I'm not going to obviously cover it over here. So I'm just going to do the top of this one. And the top one, yeah, the top one is the one that has that thing. So I think one of the reasons, aside from, I mean, it does look really pretty, I think I just don't have the patience to see, like, you see what I mean? Like, this is like, I don't, you guys. This is what I mean. So I think this is a sign that I'm not going to do banners for my large rows. And it's unfortunate because now I just lost this beautiful banner. So I might be able to salvage like a piece, and I can use it like on, okay, like this is going to be good right here. Okay. So I'm just going to add this to my journal somewhere because I just totally mess that up. So this is the answer to why I don't like stick this. I cannot. I love the designs. They're so pretty. I'm just sad now because look, I ruined the whole thing. So I'm just going to leave it to my journals because this is just not, no, okay. So anyway, so yes, so this is my March layout. Very simple, and it's just going to give me exactly what I need, especially in this very busy couple of months that are coming up for me. So I love her. This is what her purpose is to just give me that big overview and break down those big things for the month and help me stay on track. So I will be moving into my next planner, which is going to be my Nancy planner. And I will then bring in all of my individual tasks for the big projects I have in my undated planner, along with all of these tasks that move in every week with me, since my Nancy is my everyday planner and it's going to hold me accountable for everything going every single day. Then my Christy is my focus planner, and I finally got the layout of how I like to set up my week. So I will be moving into the Christie for the full month of March as well. And last but not least is my Scout Planner. I am going to remember to film how I'm actually using it on a weekly basis so that you don't just get the next move-in plan on the layout of Scout, which is the same every single month, but how I'm actually breaking down every week to get those budgeting goals set in place as well. So thanks you guys for watching and being here with me through this planner hoot journey. If you guys have any comments or questions, I'm happy to answer them. Leave them in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next